because I think it's something that we could share to you know, to the people on my list and to the Facebook group, and I would happily do that for you, because I think it's just such an important strategy when you're talking about the traffic volume that you just mentioned there, because there is potentially, you know, thousands of people interested in the content you're doing. And what's the highest you ever had from press releases as far as eyes on the content?
The best I ever had was last week's hangout that we did, and that I embedded on the press release on YouTube playlist and silo strategies.
Okay, so they're like specific things, which is kind of important. But this week's is a little bit more sort of broad and general, and from next week forward, we'll be digging into more specific. So that's interesting to know about as well. So that's what I'm always looking for. That's what people should always look for: is what's working, what's driving the traffic. And if you look at maybe in your YouTube channel, if you're doing a lot of videos, well, for example, I'll give an example of one of my channels that I was looking the other day, and we were working on a new way to use the advanced video viewer from Commando HQ. Some people were saying that the views were not increasing, while others were saying it was working really, really well. And we were trying to find out why. Excuse me. And we were thinking how we could improve and how we could make the views just work for everybody. And so what we actually built into the software was that it would start using different browsers to be able to go and view. So it would clean the cache after watching the first video on maybe on Chrome, and then it would start watching the video on Firefox, and then it would start watching on Internet Explorer, then Safari or Opera or something like that. And that way we could increase the views and stuff. And we were, I'm trying to remember the point that brought me to talk about the advanced viewer, and it's kind of slipped my mind already. And what was I going to say? I hate it when that happens. Oh man. Okay. Anyway, so we were talking about the value of using press releases so we can get traffic. Damn, it's gone. It'll probably come back in a few minutes. What triggered that? What triggered that? That's just so annoying when you do that. Anyway, so yeah, if you can get views onto that kind of content, it's such a good way to be able to convert that traffic. That is so annoying when I do that. I should write this kind of stuff down before I start talking about it. Oh god. Anyway, let's just carry on, because it'll probably come back in my head in a second. Anyway, so let's move on from there. But I think that we should do one week talking about just press releases in one of these hangouts. And if you can get maybe Newswire to give you some kind of remuneration for driving sales for them, which I think if you told them the amount of traffic that you could possibly get from it, basically from doing this kind of stuff, that it would benefit you. And you can maximize that, because I think it's such an important strategy that too many people overlook it.
I will contact them about that right after the hangout this evening.
Yeah, I really think that you should, and you can get some. You could even just set up some kind of training for it as well, offer that as a bonus, which would be perfect for it as well, because if you offer them, you know, just a video of you putting together a press release and the format that it's in, that kind of stuff, that's where people probably get stuck and where they probably don't use press releases, because they don't know how to write them properly or whatever. And, you know, maybe we can get a little tool made up that can create different sort of formats for different types of press releases. So it might be something for a product launch, it might be for something for a review type of press release, or whatever it might be. And maybe we can just work on something like that, and I can get my coders to knock something together that will help them to easily format press releases and write them very, very quickly. That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
That would be very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and I could save them a whole bunch of time. And the thing is, they don't need them to use these syndications for the press releases, because if they use something like Newswire, it does it automatically for them, doesn't it? As far as I understand.
Right.
Very, very good. Okay, let's go on to the next slide. Okay. Still in the back of my mind. What was I talking about? Advanced view. Okay, let me just move this thing up. Right. So, first here, backlinks. I've already gone through these examples I've just discussed here. So you can see this isn't research stuff, guys. This is all from the top of my head. Otherwise, you know, I wouldn't have been able to run through all that kind of stuff. You see a lot of people, content creators, come out with stuff that they basically just researched, and it's, you know, the content can therefore be weak because they don't have any first-hand experience of it apart from the research. So let's go into the second tier backlinks now. Some examples of that: Web 2.0 again. So you can have, you know, you can have clusters of Web 2.0 sites that are linking to other types of content. So for example, if I did video sharing site kind of distribution first tier, then I could have those videos onto Web 2.0 sites in different pieces of content around it. Okay, so you're talking about articles. And with this one, you can actually do like spam content, but you want to make sure it's high quality. You're still looking for high quality links. You're not giving spammy, useless, crappy content. You want it to be useful information, and that way you could actually build in a very, very effective second tier backlink, because that second tier will be great content if it's taking the videos from the first tier links. If you were using the sharing sites, for example, and you had video plus image plus you had some article around the content of that video, and you can do it very easily just with bullet points, and that would give you some really, really good second tier backlinks as far as the quality of content. That would be very, very easy to do. So you're minimizing the amount of work that you have to do. And I like that. What we're looking for is automation as much as possible, so that we can move through these steps very, very quickly, and we don't have to spend a huge amount of time. And when we don't have to spend a huge amount of time on the backlinking and other strategies for ranking, then what we can do is spend more time on the quality of the content. And the more time you spend on the quality of content, the more likely you'll be able to get conversions. You know, I keep saying the same things again and again, and I'll keep bringing this up again and again because this drives me crazy. And that is that we do search engine optimization to get rankings, and we want to get rankings so that we can drive traffic. Okay, too many SEO guys are still not getting it. I'm still seeing stuff popping up on YouTube that is basically useless content, just text-to-speech videos and stuff like that. On last Sunday's webinar, I was being sort of probed about why I don't release the text-to-speech video creator that we created. And I actually created that video tool for because of the demand from other people, from customers. But I really hate that kind of strategy. I don't like using things like that. I just think it's crappy content. And it did come up, well, why don't you use it just for second tier backlinks? And again, the answer is the same. It's because it's crappy content. It's useless information. It's in a horrible format. It's hard to make them look good, and I don't like using them. So what you can do with automation is it gives you more time to make sure that your content is really, really good. And what you're trying to do then is get the traffic, and when you get the traffic, you have to maximize it by capturing leads. Okay, that's the most effective way to be able to get the most out of any kind of online marketing, by capturing leads. And that means any new content you produce, you can get that to more eyes automatically just by sending an email, just from having subscribers on YouTube, and you can have further calls to action within there for new people coming in, and you keep building that email list, or you keep building ways that you can connect to these people instantly and very, very simply, and that gets more traffic again onto your content. And that's why we're doing search engine optimization. You know, if there's anybody here who's doing SEO and you're still using crappy content and wondering why you're not making money, and you might be ranking on page 1, and you might even have bragging rights for some major keywords, but are you making money? That's the whole point of us doing that. So you really have to start thinking more like marketing, have those call to actions, make good content, automate as much as you can, and by doing that, hopefully you are going to make money, and you can start building that up and multiplying it, and once you get the system correct. And it's not that hard to do. It's really, really simple to do, as long as you're doing it with quality content. Okay, we really, really need to do a content webinar. I think that has to come. Maybe I might even break up the backlinks webinars and hangouts to get that, and then do another one for keyword research as well, because I think we actually missed the step there with getting into the backlinks so soon in the actual YouTube SEO in 2014 series. I think I might have to take a back step and do a content webinar first, and the keyword research as well. And niche selection would be a separate webinar yet again. So there's three different webinars we could do there. and then come back into the backlinks, because they're very, very important as far as, you know, for people to actually realize how you actually can make money, instead of thinking that, you know, just get onto page one with a crappy video or something, it's going to be good enough. It's not. It just won't work. Anyway, so Web 2.0 is a good way to do it. That's how I would suggest you do it. Take those videos from the first tier. Wiki links in this situation would be very, very good. And they're very easy to do. You can go over to imtalk.org. You have to go in on Firefox to use their tools, and they don't show on Chrome for some reason. But they have something called Extreme Wikis, and that's almost like just writing an article that is spun. But you want to do high quality spin, so that means a bit of manual stuff, guys. You can use things like the best spinner, and you can use things like Spin Rewriter, but reach for it and try and make sure you don't have something that's just making no grammatical sense whatsoever. And that way you're going to have better content. It might take an extra 3 or 4 minutes, but hey, you're going to go and get, you know, quite a lot of backlinks from it. And if you're using tools like WikiRobot as well, excuse me, WikiRobot, it's a tool by, I think it was Josh Zamora who did that one. It's very, very good, because you can actually spin the URL. So you can take your first tier links and put the URLs for them in there, and you can spin them. So every piece of content that gets produced from WikiRobot getting posted on one of those wiki sites can therefore be sent out to all these different places with a different link, and going to each one of your first tier. Okay. Now, I did mention in last week's webinar the best way of using WikiRobot. I suggest people go and watch that particular webinar. We'll give them the link to that, okay? And I will do another video on how to use WikiRobot as well. I'll try and get that one done today, okay? The other way to get quality backlinks is commenting. It's a good way. You can actually do this for first tier, but you're going to notice that, as we showed in the social shares last week, commenting becomes less and less relevant. We were looking at somebody, I think it was Jeff Bullis, or was it Real SEO? One of them had quite a lot of social shares, but only 3 comments underneath the actual blog post or the on the website. And so you can see the commenting isn't such a major factor anymore in ranking, but it still builds relevancy. So the best way to use that is to build relevancy to your first tier, and you can use tools to help you to automate that as well. So there's tools like Scrapebox can help you. There must be some others that might be simpler to use, because Scrapebox can be a little bit daunting if you haven't used it consistently for a while, or if you look at it for the first time. Although it's a very, very good tool for doing that, but you're still looking for relevancy, and you're still looking for high quality opportunities, and you don't need many of them. You don't need 5,000, for example. You just want to get relevancy and build it from high quality sources where you can, comment on guest posts, for example, and put links going back to your Web 2.0 or your sharing site or whatever your first tier is. Or you can even do it as a second tier, a first tier links strategy as well. Okay. Images, again, well, you can use things like infographics. You can share them through infographic sites. There is a tool. Faraz did one. I can't remember the name. I still didn't manage to look into that. It will take an infographic and submit it automatically to a ton of these infographic sharing sites. Like you have video sharing sites and image sharing sites, you can do the same with infographics. And infographic is essentially an image, so you can do 2 things with it. You can use it as an image on places like Pinterest